evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Viewpoint. I'm Anusha Soni. All hell broke loose when Sukhpal Khaira was arrested by the Special Investigation Team of the Punjab Police, which is investigating a matter under the NDPS Act. Now, the SIT had already submitted a report to the Punjab government and to the Punjab Police, and the argument is that the authorities acted as per law. However, the Congress party is all guns blazing against the sitting Aam Aadmi Party government in the state of Punjab, arguing that the Bhagwant Mann-led government is using the police force and machinery for its vendetta politics. Well, it sets the stage for a two-way contest. One is the AAP versus the Congress party in the state politics of Punjab. And the second limb of this entire story is, how does that entire argument really stack up when the parties part of an INDIA alliance, the conglomerate of about 28 opposition parties, when they vow to fight against the Modi government or the BJP, they are not united at all. This is a terse political battle. These are not mere political differences between various political opponents that can be dismissed or shoved aside. It's an all-out political battle, with the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress party at loggerheads yet again on a critical issue. Is the opposition unity really intact? Or, to go back to the key question, did it ever exist for it to be a joint force against the NDA? We talk about these factors on Viewpoint tonight.
ये प्योर बदलाखोरी है। पंजाब में भगवंत मान हमारी ऑपोजिशन को जर नहीं पा रहे। एक तरफ केजरीवाल और भगवंत मान इंडिया अलायंस के अंदर घुसने के लिए हमारी दिल्ली की लीडरशिप के ऊपर बहुत दबाव डालते हैं, और यहाँ पंजाब में कांग्रेस को मार्जिनलाइज करने के लिए, आवाज़ बंद करने के लिए ऐसी गंदी हरकत की है।
आज जब 2023 में मान साहब की सरकार इसमें SIT का गठन करती है, तो SIT पाती है कि ड्रग तस्करी में सुखपाल सिंह खैरा की इन्वॉल्वमेंट है, और आज उनको अरेस्ट कर लिया गया है। फर्दर मामला ऑनरेबल कोर्ट के सामने।
At one level they're talking about an alliance, on the other level every single day he's arresting congressmen, he's cursing the Congress day in and day out, and that's why I've been telling my party high command also that the cadres and the leaders of Punjab do not in any way want any kind of alliance with them.
Well, let's talk about this narco case. What is it all about? The political arguments aside for a moment, but what is the timeline of the case so far, and what are the facts on record? Is it really a vendetta, or is it the police machinery doing its job? In 2015, the cops registered the case under the NDPS Act. It's a special act which has been formulated to deal with the drug menace against the drug nexus. There were various accused who were a part of this ongoing investigation. 9 people were convicted by a trial court after major recoveries were done by the concerned authorities. When this investigation was done, and of course these recoveries, 2 kg of heroin, 24 gold biscuits, there was then entire terror angle that had also come to light. Arms, ammunition, a Pakistani SIM card was also seized, and that was the time that Sukhpal Khaira's name actually came and it emerged during this probe. There were no direct allegations against him, but he was one of the suspects in the case. In 2021, Khaira was arrested in the money laundering case. Now, money laundering by the Enforcement Directorate. Khaira was granted a bail by a court. The matter also went to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court quashed the summons against the order. Now, quashing of summons does not mean that the primary case against him has been quashed in some way by the Supreme Court. That's not the interpretation, legally speaking. Khaira was accused of buying properties via drug trade. These are serious charges that were made against him. He allegedly spent about 6.5 crore from between 2014 to 2020, exceeding the declared income, and also in violation of various guidelines that have been put by the Election Commission of India. That's the broad case against him. The case is there. The primary case is there against him. On what basis does the Congress party really argue that this is political witch hunt and vendetta? Joining us on the broadcast is SS Channi, the spokesperson of Punjab BJP. Gurteej Singh Pannu, the spokesperson of the Congress party, is also with us on the broadcast. Dr. Sunny Ahluwalia, who is the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, is with us. We'll also be joined by Mr. Hemant Attri also in just a bit. Mr. Attri is already with us on the broadcast. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. My question to the Congress party first. Mr. Gurteej Singh, I want to know from you, what is the basis for any party to make an argument that this is a political witch hunt and vendetta when there is an SIT report against a particular leader? I mean, if this was a case which was registered at the behest of the Aam Aadmi Party, I would have understood that. But this case is not registered at the behest of the Aam Aadmi Party. It predates the swearing of the government.
So, as far as I remember, there was this FIR that was lodged in 2015. And if you look through the FIR, Mr. Khaira is neither an accused in the FIR nor was he named in the Challan. And then, as per my information, there was an application of 319 that was put in the trial court in which he was named as the accused, which was approved by the trial court. But then Mr. Khaira went up to the Supreme Court and he got a stay from the Supreme Court. So he wasn't an accused in that case anymore. So as far as political vendetta is concerned, if you go back and if my history is correct, when Mr. Khaira was in the Aam Aadmi Party, and last time when this application was accepted by the Honorable Supreme Court, I think the whole Aam Aadmi Party was there supporting him. So why suddenly now he is being claimed as an accused in a case in which the trial is already completed, it's concluded, and the people who are accused in the case, they've already been convicted. So now, what new evidence has surfaced that they had to accuse Mr. Khaira of this case? I simply cannot understand why was the arrest made in such a hush-hush way? Why was the police asked to go directly to Mr. Khaira's room where he was sleeping in the morning? He could have just been summoned. I mean, if there was any new evidence, he could have been summoned. And he's an MLA. He wouldn't just run away. He could have been, there's a proper procedure to it.
So, Gurteji, we'll have to break down the argument. One is the substance or the merit of the action as to why he was arrested. The second is the method that was used. So, I'm going to focus on the first part. You argued that a matter went to the Supreme Court. As far as I know, on the 16th of February 2023, a Supreme Court bench of 2 judges quashed the summoning order against Khaira in the drugs case. This was a summoning order that was quashed by the Supreme Court. The primary case and investigation against him still stands. So when you cite the authority of the Supreme Court, you have to put it in the right context. The SIT, as per law, as the Aam Aadmi Party government argues, has the authority to arrest him if they have proper proof against him to present in a court of law.
So, so my question to you here is: was he asked to join the investigation? I mean, where was the investigation done? Why is it still done in a very hush-hush way? It's been pending since 2016, and the summoning in the trial was quashed by the Supreme Court. If there was any evidence in that matter, why wasn't it put up? Why wasn't he made aware of the of any evidence that was there?
I'm not sure if you're supposed to make the accused aware of the evidence against him, but you're right. The point I'm going to take to the Aam Aadmi Party is, Mr. Ahluwalia, if there were new facets in the investigation which had come before the authorities, which were looking at that matter, many would argue that the right course of action should have been summoning, calling him for questioning. He's an elected person, he's an elected representative, he was not fleeing the country, he was not a flight risk. Why would you go ahead and arrest a person in this manner and form?
See, number one is Sukhpal Khaira has been a part of an investigation where sit was made on 13th April by Honorable Court. On 13th April 2023, the court says that rather than calling him, the Punjab government should form a sit, and it was headed by a senior IPS officer, and the investigation was done. And can you believe that 80 calls were done in a day? And then there was an information regarding that he has received large amount of money in 2016, between 2016 to 2020. And this was the case. See, whenever there is a case like this, first thing is very clear that if the person who has been imprisoned for 10 years, who is a very close associate of Sukhpal Khaira, Mr. Gurdev Singh. He has named his, and we have came to know from the investigation that there was 80 calls in a day between him and Sukhpal Khaira. So, in case the SIT wants to go in a deeper investigation, and when you know the Sukhpal Khaira is always known for creating dramas, this case was not registered by us. This was registered by Shromani Akali Dal and BJP government. He was not summoned by us before. He was summoned by the Congress at that time. Now the time is that Aam Aadmi Party, Sardar Bhagwant Singh Mann, on
No, you're right in pointing out, but what I find fascinating in the arguments of both Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party is that when he belonged to one political party, the others were raising question, and now the tables have turned. But I say this with utmost humility and respect. It only points out to the political hypocrisy that exists in our country. Mr. Chani, I want to come to you and taking a view from you. Well, the AAP and the Congress can fight it out, advantage BJP. But it's interesting how the BJP has joined in the chorus of misuse of agencies, and you're in agreement with the Congress party because similar arguments have been used against your government at the center, and they were taken to the Supreme Court. The court didn't entertain them, of course. But this is one of the key charges that opposition puts at the BJP, that you're misusing agencies. And at that time, the argument is we are doing our job. So why that double speak?
Anusha, the Punjab politics is literally into a big mess. You see, there's Mr. Khaira, who has been leader of the opposition, in 2017-18. And now he's with the, it's his bad luck, when the Congress was in power, he was in AAP. Now the AAP is in power, he's back to the Congress, and it is his bad luck. Otherwise, if he was so bad and the case was registered during Akali Dal BJP regime, what made the Aam Aadmi Party to have him as an MLA and then as leader of the opposition and whatnot? Maybe it's Manpreet Badal, maybe it's Sukhpal Khaira. They all have been in one, Punjab People's Party, and that party didn't see the light of the day, but it was there when Manpreet Badal was the president and they were his colleagues. I don't know what really happened between three of them or four of them, because it was just 4 or 5 men army. They are so much, inimical to each other. I don't know the reason. And it's, one can just as on merits can say that maybe there is a case. I don't say there is no case, but it's not on merits. The smacking of political vendetta is very much there. Maybe it's Manpreet Badal, maybe it's Sukhpal Khaira, maybe so many other leaders, which is not being seen by Bhagwant Mann. If he talks about the corruption, if he talks about the NDPS drug cases, he has a totally different yardstick for his own party colleagues. Maybe one health minister was there. He said,
Sir,
I have the
I say this after doing many debates on these topics, and of course, misuse of agencies is something that has dominated the political discourse. I say this in the interest of the investigating agencies and the officers who work around the clock, the citizenry which trust the government machinery, that I really wish that investigations in this country were politically free and independent in many ways, whether it's the Congress or the BJP or the Aam Aadmi Party. But Mr. Hemant Attri, the likes of Mr. Khaira, when they were in the Aam Aadmi Party or now in the Congress Party, points out that, the political hypocrisy in this country is somewhat similar across party lines. Correct me if you think I'm making a wrong argument, because we have seen instances like these unfold in various other states. I remember an incident of a particular leader in the state of Tamil Nadu. It has happened at various other instances. Then when leaders change from one party to another, suddenly the people defending them and attacking them change their sides. Mr. Attri.
Certainly, Anushaji, there is no doubt about it. See, the issue is once this crime was committed or not, the allegations pertain to the timeline. Once Mr. Sukhpal Khaira was in Aam Aadmi Party.
Right.
And at one point in time, once he was arrested also, he was leader of opposition from the Aam Aadmi Party side. Now, Aam Aadmi Party has arrested him. There are three basic questions, Anushaji. First of all, the hypocrisy, of course, it is there for everybody to see. Number two, Mr. Sukhpal Khaira, the timeline of his arrest is very, very important. See, for last 3 days, what he was doing? He was attacking Raghav Chadda's lavish marriage, which was held in Udaipur. So, he was basically targeting number 2 for all practical purposes as far as Punjab government is concerned. And then he has a very old score with Bhagwant Mann also while he was in Aam Aadmi Party. So the timing is very important. The way he has been arrested. If you have seen those videos, I saw them. At around 5 a.m. in the morning, police going to an elected representative and arresting him allegedly without a warrant. He asked many times, if you see that video, if you have any warrant. So how can police go, and there is a, cultured way of going and arresting somebody. You can go after giving a notice, you can call him for investigation, whatever. But the thing is, there is a clear-cut politics to it. There is a clear-cut politics to it, Anusha.
Sir, I'm very sorry I'm interrupting you on that point. I'll come back to you and allow you to make the second point you're making. There's one update that I want to bring to the attention of our viewers. Congress delegation is meeting the governor and it's over Khaira's arrest. You remember the political party, the Congress party wanted to take up this matter with the governor, citing the misuse of the agencies of the police force in Punjab and saying that this arrest and the manner and form in which it was done, like the experts on the panel were talking about, was thoroughly illegal and not suited to the due process of law. My colleague Aman Bhardwaj is joining us from Raj Bhavan in Chandigarh. A quick update from you, Aman. What exactly is happening? What's on the agenda? Have they written a letter for the governor? Aman, aapko meri awaaz aa rahi hai? Can you hear me?
See, right now the visuals you can see from the Raj Bhavan Governor House at the Chandigarh. Yes. Hello.
I can hear you just fine. Please go ahead.
Nahi ja rahi hai. Hello. Right. So, right now we are showing you the visuals of Raj Bhavan here in Chandigarh, where the Congress delegation, which has been headed up by the Pratap Singh Bajwa and Raja Vading, who is the Congress chief here in Punjab. So, from last 15 minutes, they've been meeting up governor, and you can see the light of the car. So, they've been coming out, and also on Sukhpal Singh Khaira, because he's been arrested today at the 6 a.m. in the morning, and what puts up the major question is he's a chairman for Kisan Cell of Congress. So he's a national leader, and till now any of the Congress leader from the national level hasn't spoken up. And also the cases like NDPS, which puts up the concern is it questions the credibility of any leader. So when there is a case of any cases acts like NDPS, so questions the credibility of the leader. And for these two concerns, it raises question for the Sukhpal Singh Khaira also. So the case was of 2015, but all the developments in the last 18 months and the way he was vocal on the Punjab issues. So on that concerns, the Congress delegation is meeting up the governor, and also they maintained a record for all the issues on which Khaira been speaking up. He's been
absolutely, and that representation to the governor is going to be very important. Thank you, Aman, for getting us all those details and putting all of that into perspective. I'm going to go back to our guests who are with us on the broadcast as the Congress delegation is meeting the governor right now. The visuals, live visuals and updates on your screen right now. My colleague Aman getting you all the updates from Punjab. Mr. Atri, coming back to you. Please make your second point.
From within the Congress perspective, and as far as the alliance, the proposed alliance between Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. See, there are two set of leaders in Congress as well as the Aam Aadmi Party. The leaders in both the parties I am talking of. Both the parties, basically the leaders who want to contest Lok Sabha election, they want an alliance. Because that will be a smooth journey for both of them. And the leaders in both the parties who want to contest assembly elections after that, to 2024, they never want an alliance. So that is basically the real issue. That is the fight between both the parties. Right. You will find every day in and day out Pratap Singh Bajwa opposing it, Raja Vading opposing the alliance. So that is between the leaders also. Congress is a factional leaden party in Punjab.
Mr. Atri, on that note, let's listen in to what's happening in Chandigarh.
So, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ
2 ਮਿੰਟ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੋ
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਾਥੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਘਟਨਾਕ੍ਰਮ ਸਵੇਰ 6:30 ਵਜੇ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਸੁਖਪਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਖਹਿਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਐਮਐਲਏ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵਿਸਤਾਰ ਪੂਰਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਵਰਨਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਉਸ ਘਟਨਾਕ੍ਰਮ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੂ ਕਰਾ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹ ਘਟਨਾਕ੍ਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਅੰਜਾਮ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ, किस प्रकार झूठा मुकदमा यानी कि जंगल राज बन गया पंजाब, किस तरह वेंडेटा पॉलिटिक्स 8 साल पुराना मुकदमे सुखपाल सिंह खैरा नूं इन्वॉल्व करके और बिना किसी गलबात ते बिना किसी तथ्यां ते जिहड़ा मुकदमा सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सुखपाल सिंह खैरा दे खिलाफ जिहड़ा क्वैश कीता सीगा ਉਹਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਸਿੱਟ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆ। ਔਰ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਵੇਖਿਆ, ਸਿੱਟ ਤਾਂ ਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਸੀ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਮੈਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿੱਟ ਨੇ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਤਲਬ ਕੀਤਿਆਂ ਸੁਖਪਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਖਹਿਰਾ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਸੰਮਨ ਦਿੱਤਿਆਂ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਪੁੱਛਤਾਛ ਕੀਤਿਆਂ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਮੁਕੱਦਮਾ ਦਰਜ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੇ ਕੇਵਲ ਫੜਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਏ। ਔਰ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਨਾਲ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ जिस प्रकार उन्होंने घर गए सुबह ऐदा लगता सी कि बहुत वड्डे क्रिमिनल नूं पुलिस फड़न गई होवे किदां। सो घरे गए बिना दसे और बिना इतलाह दित्तिया, कोई वारंट नहीं सीगा क्योंकि उन्होंने वार वार आपदे लाइव ते कहा कि भाई कोई थोड़े कोल वारंट है तो मैनूं दसो, कोई अरेस्ट वारंट ना ही कोई चंडीगढ़ की पुलिस का एक भी व्यक्ति उत्थे मौजूद सीगा। सो ਇਹ ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਮੁਗਲ ਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਹਰੇਕ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਦਬਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ, ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਉਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਜਿਸ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਰੋਜ਼ਾਨਾ ਕਦੇ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਫੜ ਲਿਆ ਕਦੇ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਫੜ ਲਿਆ, ਸੋ ਜਾਣ ਬੁੱਝ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਡਰ ਭੈ ਦੀ ਰਾਜਨੀਤੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੰਦਭਾਗੀ ਘਟਨਾ है और असी इस गल नूं चुप करके नहीं बैठांगे, अंतिम समय तक और अखीर तक ये लड़ाई लड़ांगे। कांग्रेस पार्टी दे किसी भी वर्कर नूं अगर इस तरह जो हालात बनाए गए, और मैं पुलिस भरावां नूं कहना चाहना खास करके डीजीपी साहब नूं कि तुसीं देखण च बड़े नफीस ते शरीफ लगदे हो और असी भी तुहानूं चंगा इंसान समझदे सी, पर जिस प्रकार दा काम हो गया है ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ, ਸਰਾਸਰ ਗਲਤ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਅੱਜ ਜੋ ਪੂਰੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾ ਕੇਵਲ ਪ੍ਰਦੇਸ਼ ਪੂਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਈਵਨ ਬਾਹਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਐਨਆਰਆਈ ਭਰਾ ਹੈ, ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ, ਆਮ ਲੋਕ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਤੇ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ ਜੋ ਨਿੰਦਾ ਇਸ ਘਟਨਾਕ੍ਰਮ ਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਕਿ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਜਾਣਦੀ ਹੈ, ਲੋਕ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸੱਚ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ क्यों ये किया गया। हर चीज़ तो लोग वाकिफ ने, चाहे मैं कुछ भी कहता रहा। सो अज असी गवर्नर साहब नूं मिल के सारी घटनाक्रम बारे जाणू कराया और सानू उम्मीद है कि गवर्नर साहब इहदे ते कोई ना कोई कॉग्निजेंस जरूर लैणगे। सो हुण मैं बाजवा साहब नूं कहूँगा कि वो भी तुहानू इस घटनाक्रम बारे जाणू कराउण।
मेहरबानी प्रधान जी। देखो सारे नो पहले मैं समझना शहीद आजम भगत सिंह जी का अज जन्म का दिन है। अज ये जमात जिहड़ी है फोटो इन्होंने अपने हर दफ्तर दे विच डॉक्टर अंबेडकर साहब की ते शहीद आजम भगत सिंह जी की लाई, बट काम इन्हां दा कंप्लीटली शहीद आजम भगत सिंह जी की सोच ते आइडियोलॉजी के खिलाफ। जो अज असां सुखपाल सिंह खैरा ने कीता है ये सेम तौर तरीका गोरियां दी हुकूमत किसी टाइम साडे देश के परवानियां ना करती होती। 6 बजे सा सुखपाल सिंह खैरा होना दे बेटे मेरे नाल ने, सा महताब सिंह एडवोकेट, उन्हें मैनू खुद दसिया जेडे चशमदीद गवाह ने कि 6:15 बजे विदाउट इनफॉर्मिंग बाहरले गेट का ताला भन्निया गया, फिर किचन का दरवाजा भन्निया गया, फिर धक्के दे नाल बैडरूम दे विच एक इलैक्टेड रिप्रैजेंटेटिव जे वेख्या जाए तो प्रोटोकॉल दे विच MLA चीफ सैकटरी तो उत्तों का प्रोटोकॉल रखदा, किते भगौड़े नहीं ने, किते भज्जे नहीं ने। तुसी उन्हां दे बैडरूम च चले जाओ, वो फिर तुहाडे कोल
Right, those were the live, visuals and the sound bites coming in. The Congress delegation that has just met the governor, and they reiterated the allegations that have been made by the Congress party in the public domain that this is a political witch hunt and vendetta, and they've requested the governor's office to take cognizance of that. I want to go back to Mr. Gurtej Singh and once again take a perspective from him. Mr. Singh, this one is about the grand opposition alliance and unity that is spoken of in this country in the run-up to 2024. And Congress party, of course, is seen as some kind of glue that can get all the political parties together. There's one sore thumb. Your relationship with the Aam Aadmi Party has never been good. It is out in the public to see. And this confrontation in the state of Punjab is not a mere political difference. It's an out-and-out political battle. And this will directly affect how you have some kind of alliance or seat sharing, if at all that happens in the run-up to Lok Sabha elections. Mr. Gurtej.
So come again. The question is?
The question is about the opposition unity and alliance, keeping in mind that the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party are fighting right now. How would you really have any kind of understanding?
So the double face of the Aam Aadmi Party has come to the picture now. So if at all the Aam Aadmi Party really wants, an alliance with the Congress, what is happening in Punjab? Today you've just seen Mr. Pratap Singh Bajwa telling you that the way the police entered Mr. Sukhpal Khaira's house, they already broke the grate, they broke the kitchen door, and they actually entered. He's an elected member of the assembly, and entering somebody's house like that. I mean, it's absolutely absurd when the matter is already pending.
So, sir, that's exactly my point. So you agree with me that there is no alliance which is possible?
Absolutely not. Absolutely, there's no alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party as of now.
There is no alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party because in the Lok Sabha elections, isn't that the dream of the opposition parties to stitch together alliance and defeat the BJP?
But still, that is, we can always fight separately and vote against the Modi government in the parliament. But there is no alliance like that.
I'm afraid that doesn't add up, and I'm being only very fair here. Because if it's an alliance of any nature, and that too an electoral alliance before the elections, the sine qua non for it is seat sharing. If you don't have seat sharing, then how do you even call it alliance, sir?
See, that is still on the cards. That is for the High Command to decide, not for me to decide. But as of now, what is happening in Punjab, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party.
Mr. Ahluwalia, you're on the same page when the Congress party makes that argument that it's impossible to have any kind of alliance in the state of Punjab. It's a massive state, and if there is no agreement between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, it will be advantage BJP. Many argue that.
See, this is not, the matter is something different. If you ask me whether there will be alliance, yes or no, I will say it all depends upon my chief minister. It is not in my hands. But if you say that if a person is involved in a drug case and he belongs to Congress, that doesn't mean if we have alliance, we are going to spare people who are selling drugs or who are involved in drug rackets or who are involved in something like that. The Sardar Bhagwant Singh Mann, the Chief Minister of Punjab, on the very first day said that in case anybody found doing corruption involved in drug case, he may belong to any party. He may belong to Aam Aadmi Party. We are going to give him the same imprisonment, the same things what we are going to give to Congress or to the BJP. So if you ask me about alliance, I say alliance is there. But if you ask me, will Sukhpal Khaira get a benefit out of the alliance? No, nobody is going to get benefit from Aam Aadmi Party in case they think that they will operate the mafia and they will be safe if they get alliance with Aam Aadmi Party.
A quick response from the Congress party. Are you trying to get some kind of benefit just because you're a part of an alliance? If the agencies are doing their job, let them do their job.
So was Sukhpal Khaira trying to get a benefit when he was in the Aam Aadmi Party? Because as far as I remember, and if my history is correct, in 2016 it was the Aam Aadmi Party that was protesting against the same case. I mean, if Mr. Ahluwalia's
were you wrong then in prosecuting him?
No, there was an investigation and he was found not guilty in that investigation.
No,
there was
because sir, the question will run both ways. If you question them now for their protests, I will question you right now for your prosecution then. So you answer that.
I will give you an answer. Yeah. So there was an investigation the investigation was done with the proper procedure, and then he was not found guilty in that investigation, and that investigation went away. So it was the Aam Aadmi Party that was protesting and saying Mr. Sukhpal Khaira is not selling drugs at that moment. Now it's the Aam Aadmi Party who's again saying that Mr. Sukhpal Khaira is found selling drugs just because he's protesting against their illegal activities that are happening in the state. He's protesting continuously against Mr. Chadda's wedding. Suddenly he's found guilty in this case, and he's arrested without.
Well, as I said earlier, the
procedure.
argument runs both ways. I'll take closing comments from Mr. Channi and Mr. Hemant Attri as well. SS Channi, sir, it looks like that there would be no alliance of the Aam Aadmi Party or the Congress as far as at least the state of Punjab is concerned. Is it advantage BJP?
Anusha, definitely it is advantage BJP, but it's totally highly undemocratic in polity where we all are there, that such kind of alliances are there. The India alliance is totally, all the opportunists are there, and they are no other business. They are only just want to, snatch the power from Mr. Modi. Which is not going to happen. Maybe it's West Bengal, maybe it's Punjab, and maybe with the patrons of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, they're having told there's no policy, there is no philosophy, there is no agenda, there is nothing. They say that maybe we will contest separate. Can you ever imagine that there is an alliance? They contest separately, and then they form the government, and they oppose each other here, and they highlight all their kind of scams and everything.
I agree with you that it can be advantage political opponents, including the BJP. Mr. Attri, closing comments from you. It is unfortunate that in a country like India, the world's largest democracy, whenever there's a criminal investigation which is politically sensitive, it becomes a victim of political blame game in this country. Whichever party is in power is running a witch hunt, and the one at the receiving end is some kind of a victim. Lost in these bigamies is the concept of justice and accountability of people in position of power.
Anusha ji, I 100% agree with you, but with a single rider, the way that things are being done. See, this thing, the same arrest could have been made in a more legal way, in a more convincing way. The way Punjab police has acted on behest of certain political powers, that is unbecoming of a police force. See, there are certain laid down procedures for arresting a common man, forget about being an elected representative. That is point number one. Number two, the main question that you were asking from the other panelists, I just want to touch upon that also. See, in Punjab politics, if Aam Aadmi Party and Congress ally for any election in the days to come, both of them will be ruined. Okay. For the very simple reason, one is the ruling party and the other one is the main opposition party. And Punjab people, they are very, very emotional people. If they find them meeting together in the name of defeating Modi or defeating BJP, take it from me, both the parties will be wiped off, and Shiromani Akali Dal and
Wonderful
BJP
point.
will come
Wonderful point
back
that
to
you have made. Wonderful point that you have made. Mr. Attri, thank you so much for those closing comments. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast on this very special discussion. And I'm sure we'll continue debating the story in the times to come as well. It's unlikely to die down. We're slipping into a very short break. But up next on the other side is a very important story, the stories of the cities of India. Traffic woes in Bengaluru sparked by the Bandh called by over 2,000 pro-Kannada groups in protest against the releasing of Kaveri water to Tamil Nadu. Once again, IT capital is witnessing the breakdown of urban infrastructure. It is the second slowest city in terms of traffic across the world. Is that how cities would be run in this country? Have we completely failed when it comes to urban infrastructure in India? If you have a point, our lines would be open. Stay tuned.
Who are sitting in Canada, getting a safe haven in Canada and actually trying to disrupt peace out here, especially in the state of Punjab and in other parts of North India. Now, these raids happened yesterday at least 53 locations across North India and in 6 states itself. In that, several people have already been taken into custody, and not only the arrest that has happened is important, but also the people who have been arrested, some incriminating documents have also been seized by the NIA, and along with that arms and ammunitions have also been taken into custody by the NIA. So yes, this is being seen as a massive crackdown, because remember, over the last 1 year, several such raids, more than 7 such raids have already taken place by the NIA, because now the focus of the Indian government and the Indian authorities is to make sure that the entire backbone out here that is prevailing, the overground workers of these gangs and gangsters who are out here in India and is trying to disrupt peace out here in India, they should be taken into custody so that their activities could be controlled. Because remember, the kind of modus operandi that is being undertaken over here, as NIA had mentioned in its charge sheet, that it is very similar to how the D gang used to operate in the 90s itself, where protection money was taken from businessmen, small and large businessmen, and along with that protection money was also taken from the film industry, in this case the Punjabi film industry and the Punjabi music industry. Now the people who are controlling this are actually sitting outside in Canada and in parts of Europe and North America as well. So the money that is taken from here is sent to them through the Hawala channels, and that money is returned back to India by the way of Pakistan, in which drugs and arms and ammunitions are being sent inside India so that the peace could be disrupted. So this is the kind of modus operandi that is underway, and hence the NIA and the Indian agencies, and in fact the Punjab police is also now trying to make sure that all these people are taken into custody so that this entire nexus and this entire modus operandi is brought to the ground.
Right, Anshul. Anshul, do stay with us. Right now, we also have Arunima joining us on the broadcast. Arunima, very good morning to you. Well, as Anshul was describing what exactly regarding their operations in India, if you could just take our viewers through how exactly their operations, how exhaustive their operations were, and they existed across nations, and also the kind of the way they were receiving fundings to execute these activities.
So the Lawrence Vishnoi gang, the Kala Jathedi gang, the Ashdalla gang, all these are into the extortion business in Punjab and Haryana. They extort from contractors, from those who are in the liquor business, from doctors, engineers, other professionals. So the main source of money is extortion. Then they are also in the drugs business, illegally selling drugs in Punjab. The source of that drug is Pakistan, is what investigators have found out. In recent times, we have seen drones dropping narcotics consignment. So when you sell those drugs in the market, that becomes a source of income as well. In return for these drug consignment and sophisticated weapons, you carry out targeted killings on behalf of Khalistani elements, and that's why you've seen killing of RSS, Shiv Sena members, killing of Dera Sachastra members. Some Nirankari Sikhs have also been targeted. So that is the way the nexus between organized crime and terrorism operates. This money is then, sent to at least 2 people have been named by the NIA in its charge sheet. One, Manish Bhandari in Thailand, runs a resort. Evidence has been found that he has often harbored these gangsters, routed their Hawala money to Thailand. And there's also evidence that the money goes back to Canada and gets invested in yachts, in expensive movies, and also in the Canadian Premier League. So that's the route that the money is taking from Punjab all the way to Canada, and then from Canada back into Punjab. It's a circuitous route that is being taken through Hawala, where both the organized crime network and the Khalistani extremists are involved, are hand in glove.
Right, Arunima. Arunima and Anshul, thank you very much for bringing us all those details, and we will keep a close watch on this NIA crackdown, exhaustive crackdown that is ongoing right now. NIA crackdown on the K-Nexus that is ongoing, and right now what we are learning is the ISI behind the Nijjar murder. This is a deep dive that we are taking into the ISI. This is, remember, this is intel source that is coming into CNN News 18, so it's an exclusive, wherein Canadian authorities advise Nijjar over visiting the Gurudwara. This is the information that we are learning. Then the Canadian authorities had advised Nijjar not to be seen in public. That is another crucial piece of information. Canadian authorities supported Pakistan. ISI gave access to killers. These are the information we are receiving regarding ISI links to Nijjar and access to killers. This is what we are getting. This is the particular information that we are getting.
And we have Anshul Singh joining us on the broadcast. Anshul, a very good morning to you. Welcoming to you regarding the NIA crackdown that is ongoing right now. It has been a multi-state crackdown. What more details are we gathering at this point, especially with relation to the ISI links?
So yes, the NIA is making sure that the entire backbone of this terror gangster nexus that is prevailing in Punjab should be broken down, because remember the kind of diplomatic war that has started between India and Canada. It is very, very unlikely that Canada is anywhere going to go ahead and stop these people who are sitting in Canada, getting a safe haven in Canada and actually trying to disrupt peace out here, especially in the state of Punjab and in other parts of North India. Now these raids happened yesterday at least 53 locations across North India and in 6 states itself. In that, several people have already been taken into custody, and not only the arrest that...
Welcome back. The IT capital of the country, Bengaluru, witnessed a massive traffic jam on Wednesday evening on the outer ring road due to bandh called by over 2,000 pro-Kannada groups. This was in protest against the releasing of the Kaveri river water to the state of Tamil Nadu. Now, many were stuck in traffic for over 4 hours. The traffic police statement called the situation along the outer ring road, which was between the Silk Road Junction and KR Puram, the tech circle, as unprecedented, saying that the vehicle count shot up to about 3.5 lakh. The police also say that several employees in the city tried to exit at the same time as public transportation saw a complete shutdown and in fact the traffic breakdown situation. Now a statewide bandh has been called tomorrow, where the common person in the urban centres across the state will feel the brunt of it. Businesses will be affected. Voices from the BJP camp and prominent citizens of the city have rained in fire on the Congress government for failing to allow IT capital to run smoothly and not doing their job properly. And of course, there are lakhs of city dwellers in Bengaluru who are affected by it. Once again, as politics paralyzes Bengaluru, it's the common person suffering. And if you were one of them who was suffering in that mad traffic jam, our lines are open right now. You can call us here on Viewpoint. Share with us what you felt and what are your thoughts for the city of Bengaluru. We had some experts on our show throughout the day and some of them argued that perhaps we'll beat the record and perhaps Bengaluru would be the slowest city in terms of the pace of traffic in the entire world if proper steps are not taken. Let's take this to our guests as well who are joining us on the broadcast. We'll take that story, but first up, the story so far, the voices that have come in, and of course the bandh that has been once again called in across the state. Well, joining us on the broadcast is GS Prasad, the spokesperson of Karnataka BJP. Nagaraj Yadav from the Congress Party will be with us in just few minutes from now. Shrikant Narasimhan, who's the founder of Bengaluru Nava Nirmana Party, is also joining us on the show. And more importantly, viewers, it's a call out to all of you. Our phone lines are open, 0120-640-3751. That's the number on your screen. Dial us, tell us what you think. And if you're one of the Bangaloreans who was stuck in that traffic, how exactly you think your city can be fixed, we'd be eager to hear from all of you. Mr. Prasad, first a question to you. The collapse of urban infrastructure in the city of Bengaluru is not new, whether it's the potholes, whether it's other urban issues in the city. We have spoken about this issue multiple times. However, what was witnessed yesterday was unprecedented, quote unquote, even by the version of the traffic police authorities. In your understanding, what went wrong?
So, Anusha, firstly, we have to understand how precariously Bangalore is placed in terms of the traffic conditions. Because if you look at how Bangalore has grown in the last 20 years, the population of Bangalore in the year 2000 was about 60 lakhs. And now it's about 1.5 crores. And the number of vehicles in Bangalore in 2000 and 2010 and compared to now, it is increased by more than 1,000%. So the city has grown exponentially compared to any other city in the world, but we have not kept up pace with the public works and the public transportation. So, and the public transportation, once it is in place, and the last mile connectivity, lot of O's would come down because people would start taking the public transport. And here, in the present ruling dispensation, if you look at the last 25 years, Congress has been in power for more than 16 or 17 years in that. And in the initial phases of the IT boom, from the late 90s to the mid 2000s, Congress was in power. And even the revised master plan 2015 or such of those things which had to be implemented have not been implemented properly. So therefore, a lot of responsibility will lie on the governments which were there, including to a certain extent Bharatiya Janata Party. I am not shying away from that because we have been in power for about 8 years.
No, I'm glad you're saying
years.
that. Yeah.
But no. See, we have never not admitted facts. We are admitting facts, but we were in power for 8 years of the 25 years. Congress has been in power for about 16, 17 years. So therefore, and in the present, especially last 3-4 months, they knew what's happening. And the entire development has come to a standstill because the DCM of Karnataka is on record to say that no development activities will take place now because they are busy funding the guarantees.
Yes.
If that is the situation, it is difficult to implement brand Bangalore. On one hand, you want brand Bangalore, but you're not.
I think that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point you're making. I think that's a fair point you're making. Mr. Nagaraju Yadav, I'm not saying that the urban mayhem in our country is purely the problem of the Congress party. I believe we have lost the connection with the Congress party. We'll go back to them. Why don't I bring in Mr. Shrikant Narasimhan into the discussion? Mr. Narasimhan, when we get the Congress party, because they are the ruling party in the state right now, we'll ask them the questions that deserve to be asked. What have they done so far? Where are the development funds? And when will the city dwellers, when will the IT capital of this country will really get its due? That's the most important thing. But do you think this issue requires something which is a political approach to the problem, a policy-driven approach? This bickering between the Congress and the BJP wouldn't really help. A quick point from you, then I'll take some callers as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. So I would say it's very much a political issue. Policy is politics. Yeah. Policy cannot be diverse from politics because ultimately it's the political parties and the parties in power that frame policy.
Sure.
Mr. Prashant just talked about two key issues, right? The quality of the public transport infrastructure as well as the quality of the drains in the city. And these are perennial problems that have been going on for many, many years. I'm glad that he acknowledged that even BJP has sort of failed to do anything on that front. More than first asking what the current Congress government done, I want to bring into focus two key issues here. One, around the same time, rain come in and the roads got flooded. Yesterday there was a small bout of rain.
Mr. Narasimhan, your audio is breaking. We'll just fix that audio. Let me quickly take two callers till then. Mr. M. Kumar from Bengaluru is with us on the broadcast. Mr. Kumar, tell us what you think. Were you stuck in that traffic?
Yes, I have made 5 years back, I have made an analysis of what the problems are in Bangalore because I have lived in other cities also. Though this is a common problem across India, in Bangalore there are some unique problems, unique nuisances about which nobody has bothered to examine, nobody even knows about it. The most important being, it has the highest number of speed breakers in the world, not just in India. It can get into Guinness Book of World Records. Then
that's not a good record to have,
80 to 100 feet wide roads are all made one way. The basic principle of traffic clearance is to distribute traffic. Whereas in Bangalore, they accumulate traffic from various places.
Sir, I congratulate you for making those very valid points, and I'll take them to our guest as well. I'm afraid we have some more guests and callers calling us. Mr. Murlidhar from Bengaluru is also with us on the broadcast. Murlidhar ji, go ahead. What is the point you want to make?
Yeah. The issue of the Bangalore traffic is everlasting. It is there for last many, many decades. There is no proper planning and no political party takes any proper decision in solving this issue. Added to that, this Kaveri issue is there for last 3-4 decades. And nobody is, especially parties from Karnataka, are not at all serious and they are playing games. And each party blames the other party about their failures. And the sufferers are only the Bangalore citizens. It is unfortunate that the other states, they have solved all their problems. But Karnataka has never solved this problem because of the shameless attitude of all the political parties, BJP, Congress, JDS, whoever it is. All are rogues.
Well, till the time the funds are spent in the right way and manner, we won't have the cities that we dream and aspire for. Mr. B.S. Khanna from Panchkula is calling us. Mr. Khanna, what is the point you want to make?
I just want to say what is happening today in Bangalore. What will happen when the general election will come?
All right, Mr. Khanna, thank you so much for calling us. Thank you, callers, for joining us on the broadcast. You can call us. Our lines are open right now. I believe I have to go back to Mr. Nagaraju Yadav as well from the Congress party, because all these questions are directed to the ruling party right now. But Mr. Srikanth Narasimhan, you were interrupted. You were making a point. Please go ahead. Finish your point. Mr. Narasimhan, can you hear me? All right, we'll take more callers. Mr. Rajaram from Bengaluru is with us. Rajaramji, tell us what you think.
Yeah, hi. So I wasn't there in the traffic yesterday, but I travel through that road almost thrice every week. While we speak about the traffic police and the parties responsible for the situation, a certain amount of responsibility needs to be attributed to the companies who are located on that road as well. They hardly promote any kind of usage of public transport within their organizations. There is no campaign, there is no email messages, there is no mass sessions that are conducted to encourage employees to use public transport. So I would all squarely put the onus on the companies as well who are located on that road. And if they start, I think things can slowly start transforming is what I would say.
That's a good suggestion to make. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Sunil from Bengaluru is with us. Good evening, Sunil. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I think the beyond politics and beyond each one can blame each other, but I've been in Bangalore since 1992 and I've seen the systematic deterioration. There's no proactive planning there's no concept of town planning or urban planning in Bangalore. These emerging areas, all that BBMP or the politics is interested in doing is building infrastructure out in terms of residential infrastructure or shopping complexes. While the roads are never given any importance to develop or even to widen up or even to plan the arterial road concept. I mean, that doesn't exist in Bangalore, unlike Hyderabad or unlike Delhi, etc. So that is the appalling situation of this place. And yeah, I know we grew very fast, but I'm sure planning could be a little better.
And isn't that the growth that this country aspires for, to be the $5 trillion economy? Thank you. Thank you, Sunilji, for joining us on the broadcast. I want to go back to Mr. G.S. Prasanth. He is with us on the show. Mr. Prasanth, unfortunately, we are not able to get a version from the Congress party. Srikanth Narasimhan is also with us, but to Mr. Prasanth first. You made a very important point when you spoke about political responsibility. And there was the point coming from Mr. Narasimhan that policies cannot be without the politics of it. We have to see both of them together, and that's how they are implemented. Some callers have been making some very important and pertinent points. See the number of speed breakers in Bengaluru. It is perhaps the highest in the world. There is no Guinness Book of World Record for that. But the manner in which the city has been planned, it's not ready for the kind of growth it has seen. Mr. Prasanth.
See, definitely yes, because initially when Bangalore was planned, if you look at I have grown up listening to stories saying how Bangalore was very good in 70s. Because by the time my childhood in 80s, it was still good. And by the time we came of age and started attending college and get on to work and other things, we saw the development rising in Bangalore. Because in the last 3 decades, I can tell you how much Bangalore has grown from being a pensioner's paradise to the Silicon Valley of the country. It's tremendous change.
Yes.
So when the entire ethos of this city has changed in the last 4 decades, from being a pensioner's paradise to the Silicon Valley of the country and IT capital of the country, it requires a lot of planning, and it must come with a dedicated person, a minister who is presently in charge, the DCM. I again repeat, you cannot have water resources. He's failing farmers of Kaveri there, and you have Bangalore development. You also have other party work. You cannot do that. You need to have a dedicated minister for Bangalore who knows the in and out and provides solutions, talks with resident welfare associations.
And there is no dearth of bright brains in our country. Even in Bengaluru, whenever we have had those special conversations in the city, there are bright-minded citizens which can come together and offer solutions to their very own city. I'll go back to Mr. Narasimhan. Before that, we have Mr. Subramanian calling from Cochin. Mr. Subramanian, please go ahead. Make your point.
Yeah, good evening. Actually, the Bangalore city has grown exponentially, and we have seen that it has been growing ever since, and it is every day growing. The infrastructure also, some people are putting efforts. The governments have been, whoever has been there, has been putting efforts, but there is no focus actually, and there is no real study which has taken place, for which we are not in the dearth of people who are very knowledgeable or who knows their subjects. Like we have metro people, metro man is who has done wonders. So this is not because of that. It is because people are, I mean, these the correct leaders or political will is not there. And this Kaveri problem, I don't know. Mr. Modi has been in power. I appreciate Mr. Modi. Actually, there is a lot of easy solving problem. Like you can put pipes right from the north, this one Ganga, to all the things, so that this water.
Well, interlinking of rivers in this country, Mr. Subramanian, has been a very controversial topic, and there is a big debate over it. But I appreciate the spirit in which you are making those suggestions. Venkatesh from Bengaluru is also with us on the broadcast. Venkatesh, good evening.
Good evening, madam. So, madam, after a lot of tensions from office, you are left out from officers. So, a lot of problem in facing in Bangalore. See, what the government is doing, I don't know. See, so a lot of fuel will be wasting, madam. So, signals are a lot of traffic jams nowadays. The government, Modi is visiting the Bangalore. They're giving the most instructions to the government to follow. Mr. Salim is inspecting the personality to all Bangalore places and making some one-ways to the blocking some junction and making the traffic clear and unnecessary parking.
I understand the frustration that you must be going through as a person living in Bengaluru. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Before I take my next caller, I want to go back to Mr. Narasimhan. Mr. Narasimhan, what is it that the citizens can do? We will ask the questions to the government. It is their job, responsibility to create the right kind of infrastructure. That is why they collect taxes. That's what the state exchequer is for. But that being said, what is it that the companies can do? What is it that the citizens can do? Are there real important changes that can be made from these ends?
So yeah, am I audible now?
You're audible. Please go ahead.
Great. So I do indeed want to pose, first of all, two questions to both the BJP and the Congress representatives. The mess that we saw yesterday is not a making of the last few months. It's been in the works for many, many years. And as Mr. Prashant himself admitted, even BJP was in power for a few years. Two key issues. Number one, last year when there was a rain that came, the BJP government of that time announced 1,500 crores towards drain infrastructure. Yesterday there was a small bout of rain and the traffic situation just came to a complete standstill. I want transparency and accountability for the 1,500 crores. Can they put out what happened to the 1,500 crores that was supposedly invested in drains, including, I think, almost 30 to 40% was promised for that Mahadevpura area where the traffic jam happened. The reality is, the money has either not been spent or has been siphoned off. That's question number one. Question number two, you said, what can citizens do? Citizens want to use public transport. But you tell me, where is the public transport infrastructure? Last mile connectivity.
Yeah, people can't create public infrastructure.
Mr. Prashant himself talked about last mile connectivity. I stay in a place which is 1 kilometer away from a metro station. But where are the feeder buses? We have had 6,000 BMTC buses for years together. We have not had any additions to the fleet. There are no feeder buses.
And one of the ways, Mr. Narasimhan, Delhi was able to decongest itself was to build public infrastructure at a mass level, on a great scale, with great speed. And one can't imagine what the national capital would have looked like had we not had the Delhi Metro constructed at the pace that it was constructed, and the kind of burden it has taken off the roads. And that is why, comparatively speaking, Delhi has better traffic. But yes, we require those kind of steps in Bengaluru as well. I want to take a couple of more callers. Ajay Ram from Jammu is with us on the broadcast. Ajay ji, namaskar. Bataiye, aapko kya kehna hai?
Ma'am, I'll take you back to 91. I went to Bangalore and for NDA, SSB. I saw loads of migrants in Bangalore, and the local people were, very sad faced. So this influx for jobs in Bangalore is the real problem. Same in Gujarat, same in Bombay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay ji. Thank you so much for calling us. Ramesh from Bengaluru with us on the show. Good evening, Ramesh.
Good evening to you and to all your viewers. See, I have 2 points. One is, we were discussing about the public transportation being a smart city. You see, this metro people, they kept the trains connectivity ready between KR Puram and Bayapnalli. if that was functional, most of the crowd would have used the metro and there would have not been any problem. But for what reasons they are putting it on hold since last 3 months, we don't know.
Right.
But yesterday they announced it was ready, but they could have thrown it open. What is there? Already Prime Minister inaugurated. What is the need for so many inaugurations? When we are suffering from road problem, metro would have carried all the people. There would have been no problem on the BMTC or anybody. Secondly, regarding the Kaveri water, see this Congress and the DMK are together. What stops them from calling them to Karnataka and show them the reality?
Well, sir, the Kaveri water crisis is so complicated that even the Supreme Court could not settle it for good. It continues to haunt back states like Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, which have been at loggerheads, and despite that judgment, that problem continues to be there. I thank GS Prashant, Nagaraju Yadav and Shrikant Narsimhan. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. A big thanks to our callers as well. Well, let's hope that Bengaluru, the IT capital of the country, gets better urban infrastructure. Till then, we'll keep talking about these stories. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Viewpoint. Plain Speak follows.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Allies against the BJP for 2024, but foes in states. Aam Aadmi Party and Congress are again at loggerheads. Today at around 6:30 a.m., Punjab police raided Congress MLA Sukhpal Khaira's residence and detained him. Khaira has been held in connection with a drugs case from 2015. At that moment itself, he was live on Facebook and accused the Maan government of the Aam Aadmi Party of vendetta politics.